about the great shows of AEW. We are your hosts. I am Morg. This is
Witty Subriquet Matthew Strange, and this is
Born Depressed Muir.
Oh, he's got one! He's got one!
How have you both been this week?
Gaming. Gaming real hard.
Playing video games and
More
watching
Total War.
wrestling.
Watching wrestling. Weird indie Steam beta recommendation of the week. Dreadlands, it's Necromunda and Fallout Tactics having a little baby. It's awesome. Condensed at the moment, but it
And
will
you
grow.
get pigs.
You get pigs, you can have an army of pigs, and I fucking love pigs. Oh, you might not know about my weird obsession with pig men. We'll come back. It's not sexual, anybody who's listening. I just think they're cool as fuck. I really like pig men and pigs.
We were caught up mostly with NJPW finally this weekend. Nearly there. So
Sonata did the uncomfortable move. It made me sad.
you love Skull Men.
Any match recommendations?
Ooh.
I wouldn't say so yet, but we're just about to get to like all the hot matches because it's been a bit crippled by, the current global situation. But no, some of the matches were good though. The 4-man tags have been fantastic.
Oh yeah, great fun. A lot of C's. It should build up in the next bracket. So basically, nothing I'd go out of your way to watch this, but it's all solid.
Yeah.
Takahashi versus Ishii was remarkably good, as I don't really enjoy Ishii.
I really loved Yano versus what's his name, Time Bomb. Oh, Takahashi, that was beautiful. But you'd have to love comedy wrestling to like that match.
So not one for Jim Cornette then?
No, it wasn't. There was at least 5 sets of hair clippers in it.
Not everyone was 7 foot.
No.
Birdie man slapping meat.
So this might be the first time you've listened to our show, and even if it isn't, if it isn't, you will know we have a tier list, which is how we rank our matches and how we rank the episodes for the week. That tier list, for those who have listened before, to try and keep it interesting, Mr. Strange will now explain in a new and different, interesting way. What's your tier list this week?
I'm impressed you remembered this early. You've got it down after a few slips.
Move.
Hi there, welcome to my Weeb podcast. I'm going to show exactly how much of a Weeb elitist I am by explaining the tier list via anime you can actually watch on Netflix. So, tier list originally comes from Japanese school system, which is similar to our school system. You'll know it from a bunch of YouTube channels, and it's particularly weeby, Resident Evil games and stuff. So we work in a letter-based grade system going up. We start with the lowest rank match. A D match is something I am displeased to watch. I've not enjoyed it. I've mostly played on my phone. Maybe I don't give a fuck about the story. Maybe it's bad wrestling. And no anime on Netflix represents this quite as much as Sword Art Online. It's awful. Just because it's pretty doesn't mean it's good. It's got rapey subtones, a bland plot. Don't watch Sword Art Online, you fucking normies. Moving on.
Is that the one where they've got like the girl is just the prize sort of,
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A C rank match is a match which is just good. It should be the average grade. I have had a good time. The wrestling is solid. The story is solid. It doesn't blow me away anywhere, but I've had a good time throughout it. And this is the weirdest anime I've ever had to recommend. It's Girls and Panzer. Girls and Panzer is the tale of some Japanese schoolgirls in a school where their school sport is fighting each other with tanks. It's not the most exciting anime. It's not the most beautifully animated anime, but it is really historically accurate with use of military tanks from the Second World War in combat, and it's just a good storyline. Watch that. A B match is something which takes something exceptional. Good, great. The wrestling is great. The storyline is great. Maybe one part is phenomenal. The wrestler, if just a fucking amazing wrestling match can tonk it up to this, even if the story's shit. And if we're looking for strong story and you're looking for something which is worth watching just for the mystery, you should watch Erased on Netflix. It's the story of a guy who has to go back and solve his childhood murders of kids in his school. which is a bit dark, but it's real good, and people only watch normie shit. I'm being a proper elitist here. This is my rage.
I'm still disappointed that Girls and Pants is only a C, mate.
Mate, it's real good, but it doesn't quite cross that threshold.
No, it doesn't. You are correct.
A matches are great. They blow you away. They've got story relevance. They've got great wrestling. They've got both of the factors that I require in a good place. And they should at least excel in one or both of them. You're looking at those matches you don't look away from. You've got great story, and it's just phenomenal. And everybody should watch Doro Hedoro on Netflix. It is a phenomenal story. It's the most consistent setting I've seen since fucking Babylon 5. It's just wonderful, and the violence is phenomenal. It's a visual masterpiece, and that's what I expect from my A match. I want to be glued to that TV. I want to be entertained, and I want to care about the story. And Doro Hedoro did that from episode 1 to episode 10 or 12, wherever it finishes. S-rank matches are those ones that only come out every now and then. S-rank matches are like the original showing up of 98 Kane. S-rank matches will stay with you for years. You will talk about how great they were. The story is great. The wrestling is great. Everything comes together in a little perfect moment that will sit with you forever. And the only anime I can think about on Netflix that's that is Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which is just consistent story, beautiful animation, great combat, animated phenomenally. And I don't feel bad comparing anime to wrestling, because over-the-top story and sexy fighting, and that's what FMA gives you. It's got conspiracy theories. It is an S-rank series, and anybody who disagrees with me is wrong. And that's my tier list for today.
Hey!
Doro Hedoro is the best anime of this year so far.
It's fucking wicked.
Yeah.
Just to continue Weeby, it's a sort of semi-apocalyptic wizard fantasy murder hyper-violent.
It's a world that's ended because magic. Basically, wizards have started fucking with the world, and it's fantastic.
It's just wicked. A hyper-violent comedy's tale of friendship. There we are. So, wrestling.
Welcome to our anime podcast.
I mean...
So, yes, moving on. News. Do we have any news this week?
I was looking into the situation on Adam Cole's contract, because rumors have it that it was running out this month, next month,
some months,
and he hasn't re-signed. Some people are still saying that story, but Meltzer, who is like some kind of dirt sheets king, from what I understand, said that he actually signed a more than 1 year contract last year, but I can't get complete clarification anywhere. So Adam Cole is either going to disappoint us all and is not getting a pay rise because last year he signed like a 3-year contract, or hasn't signed and anything could happen. That's the situation on Adam Cole.
He lost his belt this week, so...
okay. That's a sign.
He did lose it to Keith Lee, though, didn't he?
It was good. It was solid. I'm happy with that storytelling.
It's the right person for him to lose it
100%.
As a non-WWE man, I just want to say Keith Lee is a beautiful and I love him, and I don't watch WWE. He is a graceful, beautiful man, and I wish to see him battle in combat more.
You should really start watching NXT if we had more time to watch wrestling.
It's the second show whenever I get any time to watch, apart from NJP when, me and Strange get drunk and watch it. The thing that the issue with them at the moment is they kind of don't want to go up to the main roster, but they're being called up to the main roster.
Where your career ends.
But he's got Shawn Michaels and Triple H. But
to be fed to Bork.
Yeah, but the rest of the Undisputed Eras kind of don't want to go up because, they'll just be ruined.
Fed to Bork.
Yeah.
Ricocheted.
Do
you have any news, Morg?
So there is something. I'm actually going to cover it later in questions, because we have a question related to both the news pieces we had. So I will cover it in the questions section. But we will hold that back because we've been asked a question about it. So Moving over to you, Mr. Strange, for I believe it is time to tell us if there's been any social media of the week.
Social media's actually been great this week after our many months of just fucking shit being on fire and terrible things coming out of the industry that needed to come out. Just go on social media and look up the stuff after Fyter Fest and look up the Dark Order. They're having a phenomenal time.
They're on fire at the moment. They're fantastic.
Evil Uno has suggested that there's so many cars in AEW, they need a wacky races game. Stu Grayson has been tweeting about how Sue, Trent's mom, is the best part of Dark Order.
She is.
John Silver tweeted just a picture of the Butcher with "This is my dad" written on it. Butcher put up a picture of him and Phoenix with when your son gets like too battered at the beach and doesn't want to go home, and it's just him holding a battered Phoenix. Nothing is on fire.
Beautiful.
Everybody is just having a wonderful time. Just search for the Fyter Fest hashtag. Look up any of the heels in the 8-man tag. Look up the Dark Order. Everybody's just having a really nice, friendly community. Don't read the comments because fans are awful, but the actual discussions amongst the wrestlers are really nice, really inspiring,
really
and really fun.
Yeah.
No, it's been after months, fucking months of trying to look through going, maybe this is the week someone does something funny or nice. Just everybody kind of is, and they're all having like a little heel share of fun things. Trent did say he was going to like fucking kill the Dark Order because they've kidnapped his mom. What was it? It was it. Everybody needs a mom. Thank you for yours, Trent. Stu Grayson. Social media is good. Go on.
The other bit of social media, the EC3 bit.
Oh, the EC3 promo.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. Why is that not in my notes?
As much as I loved the tweets, we've got to talk about this EC3 promo. It was fantastic.
EC3 or Ethan Carter III, or currently Essential Character on Twitter, did Essential Character 3 did a promo that I showed a selection of people. I was like, you guys need to watch this because I think this is really good. And I showed it to Ruth, who loves word play and puns and shit. It is EC3 doing a promo about, his general stand up, be yourself, you're a winner kind of thing. But he gets like pretty much every AEW like character name and tag team name into his promos like naturally.
It's so smooth.
It's so smooth. And you can see he's not looking at paper because this man learns his fucking shit. And he clicks his finger and a big AEW sign comes. God, I hope this is a work. I hope they've actually signed him or they're going to, and this is being built up to.
I mean,
if he's just doing it to earn kudos points and they don't hire him, I'm going to be really upset.
I mean, he'd be a fantastic character to bring in. I love EC3. He's really good. So I'd be very happy with it. And if he can keep this work on the mic, just having him and MJF and, the other talkers of quality like Jericho in.
I
think he calls MJF out at the end of that promo, I think if EC3's coming in, he's coming in as that monster babyface we've been waiting for. Because the guy is stacked.
Oh, I'd love.
And the guy can. He's really good at playing a rich. So in NXT, he pretty much played
MJF.
a babyface. So a rich boy babyface. A very difficult character to play, and got it, and it worked for me.
I believe that EC3 could pull off that character. You know, that wordplay. He's,
and so
I think I said this a previous time. I saw a PWG match with him and a like young MJF.
Yes.
And EC3 got like a big announcement and MJF was announced. And EC3 was like, no, that's not good enough. Got the mic and did a proper announcement for MJF just to fucking pop him and put him over. It's awesome. I like him.
So, ain't it?
He seems to really love wrestling, and I don't think there's enough wrestlers who really fucking love wrestling.
I don't understand how WWE just failed with him twice.
Just say that for the last 30 years of characters, Morg. Let's be honest here.
But above and beyond anyone else, there's a famous story about Daniel Bryan and Dave Bautista.
Yeah.
Where they were talking about how Daniel Bryan was so incredibly over and Dave Bautista was going to win the Royal Rumble. And there were people trying to explain this to Vince, and apparently, allegedly, Vince said, yes, talking about Dave, but just look at him. And that's all Vince could see was the big monster, muscular guy. You know, just look at him compared to Daniel Bryan. EC3 is not a small guy. He is a Vince McMahon wank bank fantasy in build.
With all of the promo game in the world.
Yeah. He's like Shawn Michaels on steroids.
Like,
I don't think he could pull off the pretty boy as well as Shawn Michaels could back in the day, but
No.
Yeah, but you know, standards were a lot lower back then. You know, he could get away with it.
But yes,
right, so instead of
promo is amazing.
Watch it. Go and search it. EC3. It's on YouTube, but probably easy to search for Ethan Carter /EC3 /Essential Character 3 on Twitter because it's literally at the top of his page. But bow, it's got timed light work and everything. Right, let's move on.
Yep, moving on. It's review time, and as always, we start off with BTE or Being the Elite. What did you think of this week's Being the Elite, guys?
Our Dark Order know the best thing on Being the Elite. Are the Beaver Boys. I had a great time. I
love just fantastic. They need to, as much as I like them in the Dark Order, I kind of want them to break away because I think they deserve more. But I don't think they would survive in the tag league at the moment.
I think they're going to get overlooked by the Dark Order in favor of the stronger members at some point, and that will cause some form of kick out. But they're having a fucking great time. John Silver trying not to corpse in all of his scenes makes me laugh. The fucking tag quiz with Bravalon was amazing.
Beautiful.
I want the crowd. There is no crowd. There's only Austin Gunn.
That ruined me.
I grabbed the tag rope. There is no tag rope. It was wicked. I love that. The cleaner scene with fucking Kenny.
He's going to kill you, mate. When he was just the cleaner in the thing. He's got a broom. Run.
I saw him with a shank earlier. Hangman's drunk point with Kenny and that when he was leaving was my point. He could have just chilled. But then like his breakthrough afterwards when he was talking to the Bucks and he was like, I love you guys, but I don't like you guys. And I don't think you like me. And that line of this is like the signing in the back of a yearbook. That should have been on the actual show. That showed dynamic between them and explained what's going on. And Hangman can actually really act.
Yeah,
like he's really good. So yeah, I had a great time. It was really funny. You can't join cults, Mom. Stay away from Sue, you spooky perverts. Yeah, I laughed all the way through, but that last bit was like serious and dramatic and should have been on the show. It shows their dynamic. But I'd say watch it. It was great.
So yeah, it was the best Being the Elite we've had in ages. What do you think, Morg?
I thought it was really good. I think that what we were saying last week about the storyline with Kenny pouring the beer away, and I think they tied that up quite nicely with Kenny going, I was just being a dick at the time.
Should have been on the show. You've got to show these.
I agree. That should have been on the show. That does come under our rule for Being the Elite. Anything that turns from Being the Elite that should be on the show, we will call out. And yeah, that whole scene could have done with being on the show.
I mean, I'd also quite like to see. I would accept some of the comedy moments from the Dark Order on the show just to see how they try to recruit people. And because everybody knows the best friends thing is being meta, I think you could tone down a couple of those and have a few moments and it would work on the show.
I think they would work better on Dark myself. I think they'd be quite cool on Dark. Build up like this card of Dark characters that are a bit more quirky, a bit more not mainstream and just a bit more fun.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Bring back, well, that's what we originally had. All the meta quirky bullshit really sort of won us over.
Dark was our favourite show for ages. From
fucking Smarks. Yeah,
good. So that is what we call the segue. And now we move on to our review of Dark. And what did you think of Dark? We don't individually rank Dark. We give it an overall rank. But yeah, guys will run through it. What did you think of Dark this week?
Quick run through. Pillman versus Spears. Quite exciting to see Brian Pillman Jr. He had a very quick recovery from the curb stomp to the stairs, but that's probably my only criticism. It was actually a really solid match. Pentagon's health bar. I gave it, just solid match, worth a watch.
That was good. Big Swole versus Rach Chanel.
I hated her gimmick. I couldn't get into it. I hated her gimmick so much. I can't tell you if this match was good because I just hate.
Whatever, mate. It was a squash.
You're our women's expert, Morg.
Yeah.
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 It was
Yeah.
alright. Big Swole looks good in it.
The Ali and Brandy promo, I really enjoyed this.
I liked that.
I've got to
Don't
say,
be a baddie.
I love Dustin just coming in and go, every woman in, wrestling, because he's been around for so long, every, manager or woman's betrayed me. Just don't betray him. Come on. Just don't. I thought that was hilarious, just being smarky and all, but,
It was solid, good. And it's building up their little arc.
Yeah.
I do need them to go back to my new favourite giant stable that's forming, though.
Yeah, true. She should go home, but I like the Nightmare Sisters, and I think they're building it well. What do you think, Morg?
Yeah, again, I really liked that promo. That promo was one of the highlights for me. I liked the meta and Dustin coming in and sort of going, because you're just going to do this, which is what always happens.
Always happens.
Just try and be different and don't do it. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. If this is your first time listening, Morg is our women's match expert, just so you know. That's why we tag back to him for the women's. Help us, Morg. You know better than us.
We just like Joshis.
Just like Joshis. Kaz and Luther.
It was not good, but I love Luther's screaming.
He has to be a comedy character. He has to be.
Not though, but I love him as a comedy character, so I believe he is. So we're making it true.
I think it's a bit of both. I think he's a hardcore wrestler. He's got that background that they've played on. I also think he's getting on a bit and doesn't want to do that anymore. And that mad squeaky voice, which the commentators have started commenting on. That was a mouthful. Makes me think that yes, I don't think it's not outright comedy like you could say some of Orange Cassidy's stuff is. I think it's a bit more subtle. Yeah, I think it's there to make you laugh and have fun. It's there to entertain you.
Either way, not the best match. We've seen Luther do better in matches. He couldn't do all of Kaz's shit. That one was skippable, I'd say, sadly. Because I've been kind of forgiving of Luther because he's actually done pretty well in other ones. He fucking blew himself up as well.
He did blow up faster than the Ultimate Warrior, but hey, what can you do?
8-man tag. Once again, I have to comment that Tony Donato's intro music is good, though. It's a proper jam.
It offended me. A move was used in this match that offended me to see.
Lucha Bros music is not good.
How dare they use the Paradise Lock?
They used the fucking Paradox, and they didn't leave it for too long, so it didn't look too silly. I love the Paradise Lock.
I love the Paradise Lock. Sonata's one of my favourite wrestlers in NJP, just to let people know. And I love the Paradise.
That's one of his moves if you don't watch NJP. Yeah. It ties you into a ball and you can't escape.
Kicks you.
This was a squash, but this was a fantastic display of how good the Lucha Bros and Butcher and the Blade are together with their combo move. They're like 4-man combo moves and stuff that didn't feel like they took forever to set up.
And the Butcher doing Zero Mira was beautiful.
Yes, mate. He's the ultimate dad.
He is the ultimate dad.
So yeah,
replaced Chris Daniels.
Oh, I think Christopher Daniels is like the ultimate dad of the dad team, but Butcher reminds me a lot more of the dads that would be on the estate I grew up on. You know what I mean?
Head dad, isn't
he? Yeah, pub dad.
Yeah, pub dad.
We'll have to let him into dad crew.
I wanted to say this is actually one of those rare cases where I actually put a bit of comment on Dark because I wanted to comment about how good the storytelling was in this match. Butcher Blade and Lucha Brothers working together as a team so well and getting on, and they came across as a team, which of course helps to set up what's going on.
And we've got to think that this has only been in play for like 2 weeks.
We might get Death Pentagon. They might join a big stable. Then Ali can come back and we'll have Death Hexagon. It's amazing. I'm very excited.
Because, this was not booked. This is a new, Lucha Bros were only added 2 weeks ago. So you got to think that's some fantastic teamwork and ability to work with people. Then
Butcher and Blade are growing on me from this whole feud.
Yes.
Mate, aren't they? Haven't they really sort of got themselves over, especially with their white fucking t-shirts and braces look as well? I don't know, it just adds to them.
Moving on to something I didn't enjoy next.
I I don't like squashes, and I know they wanted to show off the Superman punch, and I know Cassidy needs some squashes to get his numbers up and make him look like a badass, but could they have chosen somebody who looked less like the Incredible Hulk to job out?
Is Will Hobbs your Jeff Cobb at home?
Fuck, mate, he was
So
square.
big.
He was flat on the. I've never seen somebody so hench that they're
Yeah.
flat like a brick wall.
Why would you waste this man? He could have been like, if he's not that good, just protect him. He'd be a horrendous monster heel to bring out. He could be your Matanza.
It's just too hench. So yeah, that one didn't impress me.
No.
Do you have anything to say on that one, Morg?
I think it was good the way they did it, in that Cassidy got the Superman punch out of nowhere. And as I said last week, Cassidy's probably got the best Superman punch at the minute. I mean, Roman Reigns is good, but Cassidy looks really, really good.
But
it's the speed. Go on, Muir.
But then it's like, it just
Did
feels
it to the
so
Hulk.
wasted.
Yeah, he did it to the Hulk, sadly.
You could have brought out the guy from Vice and Money, or whatever his name is, that tiny little weedy lad, and just had him fucking annihilate him,
Could have brought out anybody who wasn't shaped like he'd been sculpted in the same machine that the Terminator was built in.
The guy that went around twice in the Captain America machine.
Yeah, exactly. Right, let's roll on to Dean versus Nakazawa. Michael Nakazawa is the Yano we have at home. This match, I don't think I'd have liked this match as much as I did if it wasn't for Taz's laughing and commentary.
Taz corpsing made this match.
When Michael Nakazawa fell over, obviously unintentionally, and Taz just went, "He's the fucking man." I just pissed myself. It was an all right comedy match, but Taz took it from all right.
He elevated it.
Yeah, to me, fucking laughing at him laughing. What do you think, Morg? We're more comedy world than you due to awful indie, man.
It was music. I loved the look on the girls they've got.
Oh yeah,
I wasn't going to mention the babes, like the 80s babes they just randomly have for this show, just looking out like, what the fuck is this?
It's a Fyter Fest thing. It was a thing they had, but yeah, there was some lovely facial expressions from them when Nakazawa did his pants move.
Yeah.
The only thing I was a bit gutted about was I thought this was going to be the captain's first win.
I was hoping so too.
I thought that.
I was hoping the captain would rise to the occasion.
He didn't lose clean, so...
But he still lost to Michael Nakazawa, mate. And Michael Nakazawa doesn't have Yano's power of you have 50-50 chance of beating this man.
No matter how powerful you are.
Yeah.
Right, we'll roll through into Sky versus Serpentico. Sky has his own theme tune. I thought it was really cool. Ruth didn't like it. Serpentico is buffed up and really improved. He's got like a fucking Dragon Ball Z Zenkai boost from all of his defeats. It was actually a good match. Like, I don't want to overhype it.
I really enjoyed this. After mocking him a bit, lightly, just going, he's a bit shit, ain't he? He really performed with Sky.
Yeah, mate.
I don't know if Sky was just really good at putting him over, but he looked great, and I really enjoyed this. It was a solid match.
I think he was allowed, because he was in the main event, I think he was allowed to get his shit in, as they say.
Yeah, fair. No. It was. I love being proved wrong. I love being proved wrong, and this was it.
When we started watching AEW, we hated Britt, we hated Hangman, we laughed at the best friends gimmick. So yeah.
And now they're our favourite wrestlers.
yeah, mate. Bravolon versus the Dark Order. The original Dark Order are so good at tagging.
Can I just pause to say that the Dark Order have a keep? That's where they come from. It's said.
I actually tweeted Brandon mine this next comment, which is Brandon just needs to accept as a D&D nerd that Avalon is his team rogue, and sometimes you just need to look the other way when your rogue's doing shitty things. We had a legitimate wobbly dance with Lever, where I didn't go, I hated that. And yeah, just really solid. Grayson's Liger Bomb is a thing of beauty.
It is beautiful, isn't it?
He's just fucking with. Once again, another great match, well worth a watch. Even though this week I knew every winner, because obviously, I mean, I did pause on the captain and Nakazawa, and I did pause slightly when the Wall came out to fight OC. but every match was good. This is a really good dark. It's well worth a watch. I'd give it a B overall. Like, especially if you don't know.
Solid B, yeah. It was really
Mate.
enjoyable. It gave a lot to some characters, like Serpentico. Gave a lot to him.
And,
gave a lot to Ali and Brandy.
and it had a promo in it, so it wasn't all solid wrestling.
I know, it was madness.
Yes. It wasn't an hour and a half of watching some guy you don't know get squashed by somebody you do know. We had good matches. We had story. There was a couple of matches where I didn't know the winner. You know, yeah. Watch this dark. It's good.
Enjoyed it, and if watch it, and hopefully if it gets more views than the others, we'll get more of that. So
Bing.
So
Onto the show.
moving on, then we move on to Dynamite, which was Fyter Fest Night 2. Opens up with JR.
Electric
JR Shivani, Excalibur on commentary. First match we had Private Party with Matt Hardy versus Hangman and Omega for the tag team titles. Omega and Hangman win with the last call. What did you think of the match? What score did you give it?
If they'd have won this, I'd have probably lost my shit up. Yeah. Yeah, it was actually a good match. Gwen is the best. Go on. You did it.
My favourite moment of this was Hangman's card of 2020 slow motion apocalypse cowboy. I love that. It had the two things I hate in a Private Party match, which is the fucking silly string.
I've not seen silly string in a few matches.
I know,
so
but I still hate it.
I wrote silly string on my notes, but we've not had one in a while.
There was 3 wobbly dances as well.
There were 3 wobbly dances.
It was very good for a match they obviously had to pull out on the fly, because that's how I'm seeing it. I'm not going to be too harsh on Private Party because I feel they're going to be great one day. But yeah, it was a solid C, like bit of a B maybe, depending on yours. For me,
I gave it a B. Like, there were a few moments that bothered me. The silly string didn't bother me this time. The double Spanish fly just looked off. They weren't quite close enough. It wasn't quite fast enough. Maybe I've been spoiled by other wrestlers. Kenny was almost late to breaking up the pin at one point. Noticed that. I picked up on that. But on the other hand, Cassidy did a middle rope springboard to the outside thing, and that was cool as fuck. I gave it a B. I think it was solid. Good either. Yeah.
Storytelling on that, how Omega always has to save every match. He's always the one that comes in to break up when Hangman's down, Yeah. So,
what do you think, Morg?
I gave it a B as well. I really enjoyed this match. I thought it was really good. I thought it was a good showcase of Private Party. Wobbly dances don't bother me that much. I think I'm just immune to them.
I don't mind if we don't see them for too much. But when there's a guy stood there whilst a man decides to run from one end of the ring back to do a tope suicida through again, I'm like, MJF's really good at taking them. He'll wait till the last minute to turn around and look confused. Little things I notice. Sorry, let's move on before I bitch about wobbly dances.
So moving on, Joey Janela versus Lance Archer. Lance Archer wins after a blackout through a table. What did you think of the match, and what score did you give it?
I screamed at the intro because every time Archer's theme tune comes on, I sing "Everybody Dies, It's Now or Never," and I hate myself for it. It's like when I pointed out that Dustin's theme tune was "Brain Stew" by Green Day originally.
Oh God, I hated you every time, just looking at me with that smug face, ready to say it when he was coming out.
And now it's happened to me. At least Dustin has the Postman Pat theme tune now.
Yeah,
I always pop for Archer stomping people, coming out with Sonny. I think it was a solid brawl. Archer just looks like a beast. Joey did a counter from the blackout where he got thrown up and came down in a cutter, and it looked wicked.
It was great.
Then he annihilated Joey. My other comment is Joey dead. That was was it a blackout through the table on the outside?
Yeah, it was.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good brawl. I think Archer still looked like a beast because Sonny obviously interfered and it didn't fucking stop him. I gave it a B again. I was really happy.
Thought it was good, and it also did a bit of storytelling with that Jake the Snake tried to interrupt to try and give Archer the upper hand, but he actually nearly cost him the match, which was a good way of making Joey and Sonny look stronger without having Archer be depreciated. And I think they both looked really good after this. I enjoyed it. I think it was a solid C, but maybe a bit of a B. It just didn't do much for me. But
It's more my sort of match over your sort
Yeah.
of match, though. So, we've got
100%. I'll go to a B for it, but it was.
Oh no, we'll let Morg decide.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say, I am sick to death
It
of
is.
watching Lance Archer not sell. I'm really bored of him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he's really dull. I don't think he's anywhere near as exciting. I am tired of watching the no sell thing. I think it's uninteresting. I really didn't like this match. It was a D-. I would have given it an F
Oh,
if we gave Fs. Yeah,
oh shit.
I'm really sorry. Lance
It's
Archer
alright.
has dropped off my list entirely now.
Right, I think we're gonna have to compromise then and go for Muir C because we're in different ends here. Oh, that's not our first big controversy. We've had that before because I have a
No.
tendency to hate things
Do you think
unreasonably.
Well, we'll have to see how he comes back because you had to build him back from again being up by Cody, but I don't know.
See, I quite like I like Archer's no selling because he always at least rolls with the punch when he gets hit. Very rarely does he just eat it and stand there and look at them unless
But
he's
then
not
he
paying
just
attention.
turns around, stands there, and looks at them. There were right at the beginning. There was a couple of moves, so I was like, "Oh, brilliant! This isn't going to be." And then he just started, and that's what made it worse because he was doing his big no sell thing later in the match rather than earlier.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying.
After he'd actually sold the moves right at the beginning when Joey Janela had caught him by surprise.
Maybe he needs to work on his acting of hyping up and going mental to make that more realistic.
I think it's the fighting spirit of Japan that's a bit there.
Yeah,
I think we're more used to NJPW. God, you'd hate Ishii. You'd hate Ishii so much more. Never watch an Ishii match in your life.
Yeah,
but weirdly, I don't. It depends. I'm just finding Lance Archer to be. He's not exciting me. Is the problem?
Completely fair. We're all allowed our opinions.
Yeah.
And I can see where you're coming from.
Wardlow has just outclassed him now
Oh,
as the big guy. That's the thing. Wardlow has outclassed him as the big guy.
It's very strange. Wardlow did come from nowhere to be like one of my favorite big men. It's ridiculous.
Wardlow's selling is so goofy and realistic, though. It's just awesome.
Yes, exactly.
Let's not gush about big dudes. Let's move on. To,
let's move on to the Darby Allin video promo.
Oh God, I'm so sick of these. If Morg started being negative, I'm going to be negative here. I'm sick of Darby Allin now. I'm sick of his.
When his Guinness adverts were artistic and had a point,
100%, mate. But now he's a student film artist that's just trying to do stuff, and it's just boring me. It's just like, fuck off.
Also,
mate.
if you follow AEW Twitter, he did his 60-foot coffin drop into a big box of foam cubes on Twitter like 2 months ago. So I was like, oh, it's that thing he's done. I'm not. I don't think this made me care about Darby or miss him anymore. I think we could have had a couple of weeks without him and be excited to see him back.
As the resident Darby Allin fan, the coffin drop into the foam was impressive until he landed in the foam.
Watch me jump onto this mattress. Cool.
I know that sounds terrible, and obviously I don't wish him.
You don't wish him harm, but it doesn't. It's not that impressive, like, no offense, we could do that, and I'm terrified of heights.
Yeah,
I'm not scared of heights. I'm just
I'm scared of heights, but that looks like it would be quite good fun.
Yeah. After seeing him doing these like death-defying things that he has done and are really fantastic, to see that it's just like, yeah, mate, what?
I'd have rather seen another I'd have rather seen another skateboarding video.
I was going to say, this could have been 2.5 minutes of Darby Allin skateboarding to Superman by Goldfinger, whilst Tony Hawk's nods approvingly in the distance. And I'd have fucking taken that. That would have made if little score points had popped up like from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 as well.
That would have been perfect for us.
I'd fucking piss my pants if he did that promo.
So, following on from that...
From one disappointing section into another.
So, yeah, here we go. Taz and Cage.
I'm the one that has to defend this.
In ring. I think I might be semi-defending it as well.
Okay. Well, carry on. Yeah, introduce it.
Because Taz and Cage in-ring promo. What did you think of the promo? Did you give it a score?
I think you have to give it 2 scores. The score, if Tony Khan had not gone, this is going to break wrestling history or whatever bollocks he said about it. and the score after that, because it's a D after that. But beforehand, I think it was quite good. I think it was solid.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna be super critical, man.
Yeah, carry on. You go first.
So, firstly, when Taz walked out holding the black rag, Ruth was like, "I hope that's the gauntlet from the
We all hoped it was the gauntlet.
And then I was like, "Oh wow, it's a belt. It's a For the Win belt that's bright orange. Woo!" And then Taz's voice broke a bit during his promo, and that didn't help. Now I had to look up the history of this belt afterwards. I went on fucking Squared Circle and I hit the various dirt sheets to go, what is the relevance of this belt? And so in the past in ECW, Taz made a belt that had the same name as this belt, but wasn't this belt. But was the Fuck the World belt. And it's because he was challenging the champion. The champion wouldn't fight him, and he was like, fuck you, I'll have my own belt to challenge you with then. Had they have explained this during the reveal of the belt, as opposed to going, yeah, now you've got a belt. It's that little meme of Obama giving himself a medal. It's like, yeah, my man's a champion too. Look, he's got the For the Win belt. Yeah.
You know what this stunk of? It's the Butcher, the Blade.
Yeah, the Butcher and the Blade. With the hype, I'd give it a Morg grade F because I've never been so underwhelmed by the revealing of a belt that looks like a Reese's Pieces packet. But without that hype, if Taz had just walked out, broke his voice shouting, and given his man a belt, I'd probably still have given it a D. Had they have given context and explained it, like Twitter and the Squared Circle and shit seem really excited about this belt. They're like, yeah, the fucking 90s, man, EC Dub. I didn't watch that. I was young. I didn't have Sky TV. I was poor. Yeah. It means nothing to me, Vienna. So, yeah, if they'd have built it better, maybe. But for what they did, not impressed. Go on, old school fans. Tell me why I'm wrong.
You're not wrong, though. That's the problem. Because they hyped it up too much. And if they'd given it away better, it's no Gauntlet of the Gods. If he'd come out with the Gauntlet of the Gods, it would have been something completely different here.
Mate.
But, yeah, it's just...
So I popped because...
You knew it.
Because
I knew what it was as well, but it didn't pop me.
Because I was watching ECW just as it folded, and I've always I have a big nostalgia for ECW. ECW is not the target
audience. No,
it is, but it isn't. It is. If you had the same fans, it's the same school of fans, but they're not the same fans. Does that make sense?
No, I get you.
It's exactly this. We are basically the ECW fans, the style of smart fans who like work rate. Because there was a lot of crap in ECW. There was a lot of really good wrestling. It wasn't just a hardcore loon fest. There was a lot of really good wrestling, and it was those hardcore smart fans who wanted to know things, wanted to know the background. And it's the same kind of fans that watch AEW. Or are fans of AW and fans of NXT, to be fair, who went on to become fans of the Indies, became fans of NJPW.
But Morg, don't you think that this belt should have been on someone else? You know, it's the Fuck the World belt. I don't think Cage is very Fuck the World. Like, if Moxley didn't have a belt...
I think it should have been on John Moxley, yes.
Yeah, if Moxley hadn't had a belt, if Darby Allin didn't have a belt... which is obviously where it's going, you know, after this. Is going on Darby Allin as soon as, you know, this feud's over.
Yeah, no, I didn't think.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, but, yeah.
Unless Mox takes it off him when he beats him.
I mean, that'd be lame.
Lame.
But yeah, also, I don't think you should. See, I also didn't get the hype beforehand, so I just watched the promo as it was
okay.
as an announcement. Yeah, Taz has an announcement, and he brought out the FTW belt, and I popped a bit, and then had to and explained to the Raptor, oh yeah, that was his old ECW belt. Me and her watched the rise and fall of ECW ages ago because I recommended it to her, and
which is completely fair. But you didn't have Tony Khan saying that it was going to change the wrestling industry or whatever he said, which you know, it's a cool belt, but
well, it's an orange belt. It needs some stickers on it.
So moving on from that, we had a big swell segment where she got served.
All right.
Which is good, but it would have been nice if they'd said why she was suspended. She did look buff as fuck. Fair play to her. It was all right.
Yeah.
Transitional.
Yeah, it was very transitional. It was
Yeah,
very.
It's a modern day.
It was very cutaway attitude era, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then we moved on to Nyla Rose versus Kaylin King and Kenzie Page. I think I've got the names right there. And Nyla wins with a power bomb. What rank did you give it? And I'm expecting it to be the same rank I gave it.
I think I've got my notes in the wrong order. I've
I
got a
do.
different match between
Yeah, I've
this
got
one.
8-man tag next, but yeah, we'll
I
go
think
on
you
with
pushed the
it.
match.
No, I
We'll
have.
come back.
Yes, I have.
Doesn't
I have.
matter. Let's carry on with
It's
it.
okay.
Now we're on it.
We could do the Nyla section. It was boring. It got nobody over, and she shouted about a manager. D.
I'm so excited for another manager, boys. We're gonna get one.
So
Two new rising talents just ruin them. Will Nyla look strong doing it? No.
No.
Right, cool.
it's all right. You'll
the
be,
8-man tag. Go on.
you'll be
I'm
pleased
sorry,
when
Morg.
Nyla's manager comes out and it's Kairi Sane.
Oh, okay. You could have won me back there, boys. All right.
Yes, sorry. Yes,
Tasha Kong.
I have overgone. It's going to be. I think it's going to be awesome, Kong.
Yeah.
So Butcher and the Blade and the Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks and FTR. The Lucha Brothers win with the LB driver. What did you think of the match? What score did you give it?
I can't believe you missed this. I obviously love this match.
Oh, it was fantastic.
It did begin with Penta eating a lot of shit, but that's okay because we know if Penta spends 10 seconds out of the ring, he gets all of his health back or one successful taunt. Yeah. Yeah, the first half felt a bit one-sided, and I was like, especially as I've seen the heels working together as a team.
Yes.
Then it just came back. I quite enjoyed when Penta forgot he was legal and rolled out the rings. I've just got
wrestling, the poor lad.
Yeah, I've just got a selection of just highlight moments. Oh, and a few flaws.
Can I just say that I think my favourite part is just them coming to the ring on that van. They just look so good. They look like a comedy villain team. They look like they missed out the Venture Brothers, you know?
Missing the high five as they walk down to the ring.
Yes, mate.
Beautiful. Phoenix did a stalling slap thing with a bunch of Mexican insults and Spanish insults in the middle, and that was cool. My only things I'm going to pick on: Lucha Brothers walked straight into Matt's crossbody, and the wobbly dances began with Matt. And Matt is my my preferred member of the books. That made me sad. But yeah, great fast pacing. The ludicrous jumping Canadian Destroyer. I don't know whether I liked it or hated it, but it was a moment. A great time. Everybody worked together. The Bucks telling FTR to tag each other. The accidental kick to cost the ending. The LB driver being their finisher and not a fucking assisted pile driver. I didn't expect the heels to win. Yeah, I gave it an A. I loved it. I thought it was wicked.
Yeah, I also gave it an A. I was really happy that, some baddies won. I know it's strange to say that, but it was nice just to see, the baddies win. I also like that FTR didn't go mental because of a little accident in the ring that always happens in wrestling. That was really cool.
Instantly become enemies.
Yeah, we're enemies now.
Oh, and them doing their combo moves with each other's tag team partners was great.
When they got all four of them in the ring through the quick tagging, and then
that was really cool.
Really
as well.
good. Yeah. What do you think, Morg? Seems you're the big fuck the rest fan.
So, yeah, gave it an A. I thought it was brilliant. I've realised why I skipped this. It's because in my notes I had FTR written hurriedly, and I thought I'd written FTW, and just assumed it was reminding me of the Taz promo.
Yeah, fair.
Yes, it was an A. I loved pretty much everything you've just said. There was just some great moves in this.
God, I've missed Phoenix and Penta.
Yes. And this was when the Butcher and the Blade won me over even more with this match. Dark and this match is the two that are really this whole story for me has worked on many levels. It's got FTR over. It's setting up that FTR Young Bucks. It's got Butcher and the Blade over. They haven't looked
back down
weak.
to like jobbers.
Yeah, they've moved back up, and it's brought back the Lucha Brothers. I really want to see it. They don't do a lot of doing it agains in AEW, and that's something I like. But I will be honest,
do this.
I quite like to see another
We could do
round
this
with
with a
these.
stipulation at a pay-per-view,
Yeah,
bringing
Oh.
the WWE book in there.
I think I'd like to see a ladder match.
Yes, mate. You know, I'm not against it.
TLC. Yeah, I think this was only a longer story, which obviously this was meant to be Kip and Havoc originally. I think a little bit longer story and a little bit more build, and this would have been an S. Like, the wrestling was great. I had a phenomenal time.
They didn't really have the chance to, though, because
I don't know,
pull this out their ass, and they pulled it out their ass very well. Yeah. So it's cold.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cold.
We move on. So, Dark
Colt's
Order,
real
Brody Lee, Stu Grayson, and Colt Cabana versus SCU, Sky, Kazarian, and Daniels. Dark Order win by pinfall when Brody and Stu hand Colt the pin. What did you think of the match? What score did you give it?
So knowing Colt did this with that real hematoma, that was a real injury. Yeah, it's changed this a bit for me. Grayson, obviously great. He's probably one of the best wrestlers in that ring, and I love SCU, but damn, Grayson is good. It was a really obvious. What was that?
Jim Ross loves Scorpio Sky almost as much as he loves Jungle Boy.
Yeah, he does. Why not? Scorpio Sky is a magical being.
He is fantastic, you know.
I've got a couple of big criticisms. There was one moment where the Beaver Boys walked down to the ring for no reason other than to take a move, and that bugged me. The Dark Order, like the last time we saw Colt with the Dark Order and they gave him his win, they were like, "Yeah, you're the fucking man, yeah, woo!" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Now I understand why how the Dark Order win people over." During this match, Grayson just continuously talked shit to Colt. He was like, "The fuck are you doing, you piece of shit? Fuck you. What the fuck was that?" Then afterwards he was like, "Yay, friend, you won." If I was Colt, I'd be like, "This seems a bit disingenuous. I don't think you really believe in me." I figured out why Brody looks a bit weird moving in the ring as well. And it's just because his legs are so long, he has to take like half steps if you watch him. And it's all I can see now. It's the only thing I can see.
My counterpoint that.
Yeah.
You don't think Okada looks weird, and he's got those long boys as well, mate. So, you know, I think it's something to do with Brody more than just being that big.
I'm going to have to do a leg measurement off between the Broads and the Okada, because Okada is tall for a Japanese man, but Brody is... And without seeming prejudice, they've got like 6 inches shorter height on us than average.
Yeah, no, maybe you're right there then.
I think it's good. I thought it was a good match. I don't think it was a great match, but with the story aspects being tied in, I'm somewhere caught between a C and a B from the story to wrestling scale. So I'm going to have to pass it over to you boys.
Put exactly the same C?B, but it was just solid. It wasn't anything huge. Like you said, the storytelling was a bit off just because of how they were acting in the ring, and it was just like, you can't talk shit about someone and then try and big them up. It ain't gonna work, mate.
Well, then you won. You called me a piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly.
I really liked all that. I thought that
Okay.
I thought that got the Dark Order over as a bunch of heels, as well as this weird cult. I gave it a solid B. I really enjoyed it, but all mainly due to I have my note here was something to discuss. Is Stu Grayson the most underrated wrestler in AEW?
Oh, he's so good, isn't he?
He made that match the B for me.
Him and Evil Uno are absolutely fantastic.
As a singles, but Grayson on his own.
Oh yeah, Grayson's better on his own.
How underrated is he? He's amazing. Some of the stuff he was doing.
He's a proper warrior, like barbarian king, like man. He's just awesome. I think the problem is he's stuck somewhere between like Pac and.
Card's just too strong, mate. You can't put him up. There's nobody to take down, you know? It's like, I wouldn't want to see Stu Grayson over Pac, you know? No offense to him. He's fantastic, but Pac's legitimately amazing. So, you know, it's a hard one. It's like the tag team division. It's like...
too much good talent.
When
Yeah.
Evil Uno and Stu Grayson turn and leave the Dark Order due to being treated like crap by Brody Lee, Stu Grayson to take out Lance Archer.
I'd take that. I think that'd be a really good match. I think that'd be a nice,
Solid.
nice combo. Yeah, no, I'm down with that. That's a good call. Boom. So yeah, B. We'll give it an overall B.
Yeah, we'll go for B.
You happy with that?
Yeah.
Big Swole and Brit promo.
D.
Yeah, it was a bit. It
We
was
don't
a
need
palate
the trash
cleanser.
again. You've done the trash 2-3 times now. Do something else. It was really funny. I really enjoyed it. Now let's move on. Let's
I did
another.
like Brit selling the piece of paper that shot past her face as if Swole had actually
I
punched her in the
think
nose.
it was meant to be that Rebel had slapped her by trying to block the thing. I don't know. It just wasn't
That's what it looked like to me. As much as you enjoyed it, I had Ruth next to me going, if she's that fragile, why is she a professional wrestler? I know she's meant to be overacting it, but I think they crossed my threshold for pose law this time. It went from no, that's the wrong law. Doesn't matter. They crossed my satire threshold to too slapstick for me.
It's fair.
It's the why did the chicken cross the road from Jericho? It's like they've done that joke multiple times now. Can you give us something else? I love Britt Baker and her new character, but she can do better than this. They can do better than that. So D for me.
No. Yeah, I didn't even rank it. I just that one moment because that's how I saw it. So moving on, we had our main event. We had Orange Cassidy in the main event. Orange Cassidy versus Jericho. Jericho wins with the Judas effect. What did you think of the match? What score did you give it?
I was pretty impressed Orange Cassidy had his own music. That seems like a lot of effort.
That was rubbish. I didn't like it. I wanted to go back to his rubbish music. I need to ask a question because in my notes I've just got "I miss Pac" written at the top of this. And was there any reason I wrote that, or was it just me longing for my boy?
Probably because the Pac Orange Cassidy
match. Yeah, okay. Great. I was just wondering why I wrote that. Yeah, it had the babyface issue that I always hate, where it's like the Proud and the Powerful are down there, but no, Orange Cassidy wants to do this on his own, so he won't have his mates out to help him. It's just like, but why? They're gonna interfere. Just have your mates stop them. I don't like that.
Literally got his own best friends. I was dubious at the start because Orange Cassidy did his normal routine in the first 5 minutes, and we've seen that in most matches. But he did it like straight off, and then he carried on.
Yeah,
I quite like Orange Cassidy, master of roll-ups, as we saw him do like 8 different types of roll-up and flippy pin in this match, excluding his special finisher one, and that's quite cool. If I'm honest, it's
very
nice
cool.
thing.
I enjoyed that a lot.
Started solid but slow. They weren't quite as smooth together as they could be. And then it just really picked up at the end. The soft kicks into the Superman kick.
When it hit for me, and it just started getting real good. After that super kick,
Especially after Jericho said it, in his previous promos, if you do that shit to me, I'm going to break your face or whatever it is.
Exactly.
I almost hit my kick out limit at one point. And it was a really strong end. Yep. It was good throughout, but then it picked up for the last half and had a really good ending. So I gave it a B. I don't think it quite crossed into A territory. In fact, I don't think it was particularly close to A territory, but I think it was a good and entertaining match. I was down with it.
It was a tale of two halves for me. Like the start was a bit slow and I was a bit like, why is this happening? And then, it picked up and became great. And I gave it a B in the end because I really enjoyed it. And I love against most people, I love the Judas effect. I love that he can just hit it out of nowhere and just finish someone. Because I think it's a great way to end a match. Like, no, that move just kills you. I know it's just a back elbow, but no, that move just kills you. You have to accept that,
Yeah, my finisher when I'm a wrestler is going to be the knee to the face then, because that's just really realistic. If you need to no, I'm going to hold them. I'm going to fucking Kamigoye them.
Oh.
The only things that disappointed me, I think, because I know Orange Cassidy uses the orange mist on the indies, and I really expected that from when they brought the orange juice down.
When they brought the orange juice down, obviously, but no.
How good would it have been if when they sprayed orange juice in his face, he just powered up and hulked up?
He just hulked up. Yes, that would have been amazing.
That was what me and the Raptor were expecting.
No.
So-
A B. It was solid. Good.
I gave it a B. I believe I would have given it an A if the right person had won.
Oh,
Chris
not
Jericho,
orange.
Jericho does not need wins. It would not have hurt Jericho to
No,
lose.
fair.
Jericho now, he hasn't needed wins since he was last 2 runs in WWE. Jericho can eat losses.
yeah.
Does not
Losses.
affect Jericho at all. Orange Cassidy would have been made by this, and the storyline was
don't
leading
know.
up to Cassidy should have won this.
I think it keeps him in that underdog sort of place, which I think is good for him. I think he
he's-
needs a bit more time to develop a character.
So
not
the only
just
way,
a sloth.
without having an audience there, one of the only ways we can tell who's actually over and who is a draw is merch sales, and Cassidy's merch sales are up there.
Oh yeah, he's ridiculous. Don't get me wrong.
So and
It's an Orange Cassidy towel.
yeah. So I think Orange Cassidy should have won this. I think this is the second time also in recent memory where Jericho has won a match he shouldn't have done.
His other one.
What's the other one?
Pineapple Pete.
I think he should have beat. I think he should have. I still think he should have. I'd have accepted Pineapple Pete winning, but I think Jericho should have lost. Should have still won, but after actually taking some shit, basically, personally.
Yeah.
I think he should have had a bit more, but I don't know. I think they want to keep Jericho a bit more protected. I don't know.
And it's not a clean win. He did use a baseball bat, orange juice.
Yeah. As I say, my issue with it is of all the people to protect.
Yeah.
He doesn't need protecting.
As much as I've criticised Lance Archer earlier, should not have been in that program with Cody for that belt. Should have just been in a program with Cody and beaten Cody. As much as Brody Lee should not have been put straight into the main event with as good as the match was with Mox. Brian Cage should not be going into a main event without an audience against Mox.
Unless he wins, I'll take it.
Needs to win.
I really don't think he's going to. Jericho, on the other hand, is the one man. Doesn't matter. Doesn't hurt him if he loses because he's Chris freaking Jericho. And it's even better because he can cry baby about how the loss wasn't fair.
I think they want to build the story for longer, maybe. I think it may not be over, which is, they may want to.
Yeah, it was a good match. I will give them the benefit of the doubt.
We've got to see where it goes. They've been doing Gado long-term booking. We've got to accept their story can be told over more than one wrestling match. It's not WWE. We've got to try and give them the benefit of the doubt here, I think.
I don't know. I think the problem with WWE is they try and tell the same story over 3 matches.
So that same match again.
Overall, Fyter Fest Night 2. What's our overall thoughts? I'm thinking it's a B.
It's a B. If I look at this mathematically, the A cancels the D, and 2 of the C's cancels 2 of the B's, leaving us with 1 B. Which is what I do when we're talking through, if I'm completely honest.
Yep. So we say Fyter Fest Night 1 was the better night?
I don't know. I think this was really solid.
Was a more consistent night.
Yeah. I think if you take out your Archer hate for the match, I think it was a stronger match, a stronger night.
I think it's overall stronger. I think night 1 had a few better high moments.
Yes.
Essentially, you could take out a third of Fyter Fest Night 1 and watch all of this, except for the Nyla match and the Lance match if you're you. Night 1 better highlights, night 2 more consistent. There we are. We've got is it Fight for the Fallen next week as well?
Fight for the Fallen next week, which is about right because if I remember correctly, Fight for the Fallen last time was pretty much straight after Fyter Fest.
Yes, it was.
So it is
I wonder what
consistency.
WWE is putting on at the same time.
They'll have to unveil another banner that they've hastily put an NXT sticker over.
That's my favourite thing about that banner.
So
it makes me piss. The Great American Bash banner, I don't know if you've seen it, Morg. You can see the little edge of the WWE symbol coming out under the NXT sticker.
No, I hadn't seen this. I'm going to have to look this up.
It's beautiful.
I mean, at least Triple H is honest in it, the fact it's counter-programming. I'll give him that.
I am
Gotta
happy
pay-
for them to counter program as long as they're honest about it. It's just the disgeneration of it normally,
Disgenuation.
or whatever. Words.
So
I know English.
That's our review.
me speak good, yes.
Yes, me sweet good.
So that's our review. Now we move on to our questions of the week, and we have some questions. Going to do this. We've got 2 questions in one. So Eleanor writes, we'll do the first part of what she writes second.
Yep.
And we'll do the second.
Confuses.
So yeah. So also like to hear your thoughts on the story that CM Punk was approached by AEW and asked for so much money, even they said no. Do you think there's any truth in it? So this was the news segment I was going to talk about.
Okay.
That I kept. So allegedly it's come through recently that CM Punk's texts with mates, as he was saying, were actually him approaching. This is allegedly what I've heard. Him approaching AEW to go into talks, and he asked for so much money that even AEW said no. And I believe it's Conan who turned around and went, and this is a company that are looking to spend. So the question is, do we think there's any truth in it? Unfortunately, as a massive CM Punk mark, I think yes, there is. What do you guys think?
I also believe this. I am not a CM Punk mark. I did not see the Summer of Punk. All I know of CM Punk is this man who complains about wrestling online, basically, and says he's the best. To me, CM Punk seems like a more arrogant, less fun Daniel Bryan. Because, yeah, they're both truth spitters, but one of them does it in like a self-aware, snarky way, and one of them does it in a I'm the best in the world way. And
also, I've seen his moveset on Kenta before. Why do I need to watch it?
No, don't do it. Morg will defend it. Because he wasn't allowed to use his original. I've had this argument.
That's true.
Before you joined us. He wasn't allowed to use his original moveset, so he borrowed Kenta's.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm just being silly.
Because he does a better pedigree.
Yeah, it is true.
But he does at worst go to sleep.
He does at worst go to sleep. But I think the issue here is, it's like, I think that if CM Punk had played his cards right, Tony Khan is boating the boat rich. He could have taken a little less and then gone, but you're making me now. You're making me your first champion, though.
Nah, he'd be second still. He'd be where Moxley is. He'd need somebody to overthrow. He's he's still, even though he is an incredibly rich man who has had success all over,
outsider,
he still thinks of himself as the outsider underdog, and he still wants to beat old wrestling. And Jericho in this current character is a good representation of old wrestling, that satirized, and he'd be where Mox is, basically.
I don't know whether I'm going to have to pull a bit of defense in here, because the Summer of Punk promo wasn't all about beating old wrestling. It was actually about respecting and remembering old wrestling.
I'm not doing that like a put down way. The character,
He is the rebel. He is the voice of the voiceless, and that means he's just a babyface in AEW. All he would have been was the guy. If he'd gone to AEW, all he will be, or if he goes to AEW, all he will be is the guy who runs down WWE. It'll be loads and loads of meta. It'll be, you get your one. It'll just be that. And as much as I love Punk, I'd rather see the straight edge superstar and go back to what you were doing originally, the heel, I'm better than you because I'm straight edge, because I've got loads of money.
I would have liked to see Charisma 18 Moxley come in, I still think,
he'd just be better Moxley in my mind. And there's loads of straight edge people in AEW. He'd fit in really well. I think he's just too angry. I think he had a
field of hate.
Yeah. I think your analogy with Daniel Bryan's quite true, though. That was a lot of that was his. Punk's well known for hating his fans as well, but not always surprisingly, because he did used to get really horrible things happen, like people coming over, pulling his earphones out of it. This is back when he was in Ring of Honor, before he was WWE, pulling his earphones out of his ears, and shoving a magazine under his nose to get him to sign it for their kid.
I mean, I would want to punch a man if someone did that to me. So,
Whereas Daniel Bryan's just like a casual shit talker, like when he dropped the fact AJ was a
flat earther,
just for lol in the middle of an interview. You could see Daniel Bryan. He's like, I'm going to spit the truth, but I'm going to wait till an awkward moment, and I will love it. Whereas Whereas Punk is like, no, I will just tell you.
Yeah.
So, as for
It's
yeah,
sad, really.
that's our thoughts on it. I hope that answers the question. As much as this has been said, I'd still love to see him in a ring again.
I think a building up of him again would be good for
I'd
him.
like to see him go to New Japan, to be honest. I think he'd be better in New Japan.
I'll give you that.
He would have a
And he
lot more
can't get
fun.
angry
I
at
think
people. He
I think
doesn't speak Japanese.
I think you guys would enjoy him in New Japan. I think if he went back to his no nonsense, stiff.
To be beaten by Yano though in his first match, or I won't accept it.
And so now on to the first part of the question.
Yep.
So with the speculation about Adam Cole's contract not being renewed, I'd like to know how you'd book him into AEW if he did come over. You know what this is, guys? This is a booking. How are you booking Adam Cole into AEW?
On the fly.
Mr. Strange?
Okay, I'm in. So, as we know, literally in canon, Adam Cole is both Britt Baker's husband, fiance, partner. I don't know their exact legal status. I probably should have been careful with that one. But was also killed by Hangman Page in Dark. So I figure in BTE. So obviously we know there's this conspiracy against Britt Baker trying to take her down, trying to push her out. So I think obviously Adam Cole's contract will expire. You don't bring him in straight away. You just have Britt saying she's got somebody looking into this conspiracy and she's going to find the root. And she breaks it down. But obviously some of these people in the conspiracy are the Nightmare family. There's Cody, there's Dustin, there's all of that lot. So to get to them, to get the answers, to really get revenge and break down this conspiracy from the top of the elite and the management, she's going to need a man who can fight them. Now, I don't know whether to keep him dead or not, but I kind of want, like, something's going on. Maybe they're telling Britt she's crazy, and then we get like, an almost Undertaker-like entrance.
God damn it, you asshole. This is where I was going to go.
Smoke rolls out. Yeah. And
all the druids and everything.
You can have Britt go, before we look into this, he needs to have revenge on somebody who's hurt him, and maybe Hangman's drunk about the ring as this misrule. He looks over, shocked and terrified. I wasn't going to go full druids. As Adam Cole, I mean, you can't really 98K him. He's only a little lad. Storms down to the ring for his vengeance on Hangman. He'll have to lose dirty because obviously they're heels and we don't want to tarnish our Hangman just yet. But then we get Britt and her partner back from the dead. We can hint at all manner of bullshit at how he's back. We don't need to state he's fully supernatural because AEW likes to give that hint of maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Maybe we see some things of her looking at different medicines and, I don't know, zombie stuff before he comes back. He takes out Hangman and then it's them breaking down this conspiracy. And they can even add other people to their little team. You know, people who are like downtrodden, people who looks like they've been stomped on. Hell, give them some of the people who've been jobbing on Dark. As Britt and Adam Cole basically decide to break down the system and find out what this conspiracy is. They've been wronged. Why did they kill Adam in the first place? Something, and maybe Adam went into hiding and faked his death. I don't actually know how he died. And that's what I'd do. I think you keep this sort of semi-comedy.
This is basically where I was going to go with it.
Heel. Sorry, man.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
This comedy heel look into things. Because we know Adam Cole's got a good sense of humor. We know he can wrestle.
Yeah.
AEW doesn't seem to like bringing people in and pushing them to the top of the card straight away. And I think you can have them feuding with the Elite for killing Adam, feuding with various women for the conspiracy, and you can add people to them who are getting bad, who've been wronged or robbed in matches. You can play on the meta of Dark because Adam loves BTE and Dark and stuff, and I think that's your best thing. You bring him in as a upper carder who can fight people, but fight people. Nobody needs to lose clean because he can do Healy shit because he's good at Healy shit. And, you know, you've got this whole conspiracy, take down the man from the inside, betrayed friend, conspired against partner malarkey, and that's where I'd go. What do you think?
I need to hold my push to talk button down or I'd be clapping. I love Undertaker Adam Cole.
Gone with it. It's the most obvious thing to do. It's
You've
how
got
I would have brought back someone else if he hadn't been indicted in horrible things.
Yeah.
So are you going to pass, Mr. Muir, as Strange has stolen
I'm going to
yours?
pass, but I'll add bits and what I think as I can now.
Add to my what suggestions would you add to? I mean, you added druids to the coming back of Adam Cole. Do you have anything else?
I don't know. I think because of how crazy and over the top that Britt Baker's been, I think you could almost have her delving into dark arts, trying to think like it's science. Yeah. Trying to bring her boyfriend back.
God.
Husband back.
No, mate, she is literally a dental doctor. You could just fucking Herbert West it.
Oh yeah, Herbert West, reanimate her.
Herbert West.
Yeah, bring him back as a Frankenstein monster.
You just need to hint at it though. You don't say anything like true, like the.
Just find some embalming fluid on the side one time, you know.
Just loads of little hints like that, and loads of occult drawings in the conspiracy thing.
Yeah.
Go on, Morg. Your
Right.
turn. We've.
So I need to expand on yours first because I'm going to do mine in two parts.
Okay.
So
I'm going to do the BTE part, which is very similar to yours, and then the AEW, how we actually do it. So we're going to do the BTE part first. So the BTE part first is going to start with Matt Hardy walking in to Luther and having one of his, Aleister Crowley, my old friend. Right, at which point, of course, we now have spooky Luther being the master of the dark arts.
Yeah.
Remember how we raised people from the dead, and we will then have Matt and Luther raising someone from the dead because Hangman has just walked out on the Elite and they are missing someone.
Okay, that's cool. I'm glad we're all on the same page.
We're all
BTE. Adam Cole has got to be brought back from the dead on BTE. You never need to refer to this on Dynamite. Now, for what I would do in the other section is to actually bring him back in. Is I would bring him in to replace Hangman as Hangman has left the Elite to fill that gap. The other person I'm going to move away from the Elite is Cody.
It's inevitable. I'm down with it. That makes sense.
But not necessarily to go off and be heel. Maybe go off with Hangman as the two guys who've been sort of like elbowed out of the Elite. Maybe they can do a thing together. But I'm going to bring Adam Cole in to the Elite as Hangman's replacement. For whatever feud against whichever faction they are feuding against, or as a running buddy, or whatever variation of a theme is required. But what I am going to do during this is we're going to have lots of bits where Adam Cole is almost doing what MJF did to Cody, but with Kenny.
Oh, okay.
So Kenny is the one, even though he's not, Kenny is the one who in my mind is the leader of the Elite because he is Kenny. He is the cleaner. He is, you know, he is
the best friends.
He is the sixth. He is the 6-star general. You know.
There he is.
So, and obviously, you have a little bit of jealousy, and all the time, Adam Cole is going to be doing the round the back hiding, which just basically leads up to having Adam Cole versus Kenny Omega match that we can build up over 6 to 12 months. Through little skits in BTE, similar to how they've done with Hangman, but differently, and similar to how they did with MJF, but slightly different. So you can get this, and either this could lead to Kenny turning full cleaner and turning, which we know a lot of fans want, or Adam Cole's a really good heel, really good shit-eating, conniving little heel.
Don't think we need the cleaner. I really don't.
That's how I would book Adam Cole in. I would book him straight in as part of the Elite, shoot him straight in there, because you don't want to have to rebuild him up because he's top of the world in your real competition.
Yeah, there's no point sending him down below.
He needs to come in at top of the world. When you challenging Mox, maybe even costing Kenny a chance at the belt and taking that chance for himself.
You have to book them strong. It's not the invasion angle.
Yeah, Adam Cole is World Championship material. He's that good.
I have never seen an Adam Cole match.
He is good.
They're
Okay.
really good.
Give me one to watch, and I will make sure that I take the time and effort. Also, you know,
versus 2 out of 3 falls against Gargano is one.
Gargano's good.
Yeah,
seen that
I think 2 out of 3 falls versus Gargano. Gargano's one of the ones I'd throw straight out.
Watch it on our next NJPW night.
Yeah, nice. Cool.
But if you're going to start watching Gargano matches, then you have to watch the Ciampa trilogy as well.
Yeah,
because they are amazing.
Good matches.
So yeah, that's how we would book Adam Cole. Hope that answered your questions. If you want to send us any questions, we are wrestleopinionated@gmail.com. That message came to us through Facebook, where a lot of our questions do. Please follow us, WrestleOP on Facebook, and send us a message there. We put a post up every week just before the production meeting. Chance for you to put your questions in. Or if you want to speak to Mr. Strange personally, we are WrestleOP1 on Twitter. That's the end of questions.
I will respond.
Mr. Muir.
Well, for discussion, I was just mulling over the cleaner myself if we actually wanted the cleaner or anything. But my actual planned one was we're around halfway through the year now, and it's been a weird year for wrestling, to say the least. So I just wanted to go over what we thought were what was the best things that we've seen this year to do with AEW, and what we really enjoyed, and just basically discussing what we think has been the best moments and what we've thought of.
I'm just thinking of the best friends skit from BTE a couple of weeks back, where they're all lay on the walkway, and Trent's just like, 2020 has been the best year of our lives. Everything's on fire. We did it, Patrick. We saved the city. Yeah, no, as much as things have been terrible, especially in the last 3 months now. God, how long have we been in plague season for?
3 months and a bit, mate.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I haven't written down a list of specific moments because I wanted to write a few guys' hopes, but this recent period, my 3 probably biggest points are the women's league in AEW is up. We've got women's stories, we've got new women performing in dark, we've actually got matches we care about. Sure, this last Fyter Fest isn't the best example of that, but at the end of last year, start of this year, we were doing nothing but bitching about how terrible the AEW Women's League was. And suddenly we care, and the matches are exciting again. Dark is getting good again. Just, things are going good. I'm going to hand over to you guys for specific examples so I can pop them into my mind.
My favourite moment, and it was on an episode of Dynamite, was the Kenny Omega versus Pac Iron Man match. I think that was one of my favorite wrestling moments to do with this side of the hemisphere, not in Japan. I freaking love that match. It was absolutely fantastic. Rewatching it, Pac smashing him in the face with a chair, taking the disqualification just to weaken him and stuff like that was just fantastic storytelling, and I loved it.
I've really been enjoying the rise of MJF and his story. I think he's really come together lately, and he's just been doing loads of cool stuff. He's just a joy to watch in the ring, and obviously the best friends for me.
Friends have been wonderful.
I still think Chucky needs a bit more time in the ring to show off the stuff he can do. I just don't think he's possibly perfect with a lot of the boys. He's very good against Omega. Trent is obviously just always wrestling 100% Japan. Adding Orange Cassidy has added joy. At the start of the year, we had the best friends Statlander skits in BT, and they were hilarious.
I'm so sad that she got injured, and now that I think she would have been involved in that storyline with the best friends if she hadn't been injured.
I'm going to throw out one from my lady who was incredibly excited when Abaddon came back. She was
fantastic, that entrance.
Yeah, it's a different kind of female wrestler that we've not really seen. Probably the most extreme one before was sort of Rosemary in Impact, and suddenly Abaddon's blowing her out the fucking water for terrifying horror shit. Probably because she doesn't actually want to look sexy.
She doesn't want to look pretty. She just wants to look like a monster, which is, great for a character. You know,
Morg, your highlights, go.
So when we were discussing this yesterday, we were discussing our discussion. We were talking about how there's a lot of positive stuff going on at the minute. We've had some great stuff on both sides. Well, I don't want to just mention AEW. I think one of the biggest highlights this year has been our 3 S rank. Well, although we've had more than 3 S rank matches, we've actually had 4. But
have you actually listed them?
We've had, I believe, 4 that I can think of off the top of my head. But 3 of those S rank matches, it's been 2 from AEW and 2 from WWE. But specifically, is 3 of them have been the cinematic lunacy, and this is something I think has been brilliant. To be really positive about is the Boneyard match, the Firefly Funhouse match, and the Stadium Stampede were just absolute pieces of joy to watch, especially during this time we've been going through. They have been moments that you can just completely and utterly escape, whether it is just the hilarious buffiness of the Boneyard match.
Oh, it was
is now Taker's final match was with AJ Styles, which I think is awesome.
He probably thought it was real. You know, he thinks it's flat Earth.
The cathartic
the Smark
Firefly
match.
Funhouse that was that catharsis, possibly slightly cathartic for John Cena as well. To be fair,
I loved it, and I still think they waste John Cena. I think as much
After
as
watching Southpaw, that is the only John Cena I want to see. I like to
think
imagine
he
they're
was just
tiny little
wasted.
malformed men.
He's a genuinely nice guy as well, apparently.
Yeah, he's a fantastic person, and he's willing to take the piss out of himself, and that's part of a human character I love the most. Is someone that's willing to just go, yeah, I can take the piss out myself. Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course the Stadium Stampede, which was just wrestling
Hilarious.
turned up to 11.
Yeah, it was just stupid, and it was beautiful.
It was hilarious, and I think that's certainly 3 of the highlights of this year that I can think of.
If we're going not in WWE, I'd like to mention Wrestle Kingdom 14 and the Naito Okada match. Oh, child.
The fall. The fall, that 18 count out. He was so far from the ring.
How did he make it back?
Mate. I'm going to actually go a little bit controversial because I know he's in a bad... Well, he made comments in the past and he is currently receiving sensitivity training for them, but I honestly think he's a better person. Sammy, up until, obviously 2 weeks ago when he got suspended, has been, AEW's wrestler of the year. He's eaten so much shit. He's been ran over. Unless it turns out he's actually still an asshole, which I hope not, and from all the good deeds he's done, all the good deeds it seems he's done in the last few years for people who haven't asked for help. He's messaged dying families and people out of nowhere to just send them heart-lifting
got to accept that people can change, and we hopefully that he can improve, and he's grown as a person, you know?
So if it turns out he's actually secretly a stealth arsehole, I rescind this comment. But
obviously.
he has been comedy, he has been fabulous at wrestling, he has been in everything, he's eaten some ludicrous bumps. Sammy has been the rising young looking lad. I don't know how much younger than it, or even if
is he?
He's about the same age as Jungle Boy and a little bit younger than Cool. Because he looks a lot younger. Maybe it's because he's skinnier and
he's got that baby face, hasn't he? You know?
Yeah.
Also, the Young Bucks versus Omega and Hangman match has to be mentioned. That was just gold in storytelling.
Anything Phoenix does. Just anything.
I'm sorry. Phoenix was my favorite wrestler until Pac took that. And
we discovered Alan Angels.
We did discover Alan Angels, and he's a bit wasted as number 5 at the moment. But you know,
at 10, who
he had arm surgery. He's actually got his arm in a sling.
Is that what it is, a broken arm? That actually makes sense. Then that's that's clever booking.
Yeah,
it's actually been really good. I'm extra excited now. We're having a positive.
When you look back at it, the last 10 minutes, you're just going, "Yeah, this has been really good in wrestling." It does make you feel good about wrestling instead of just going, "Oh God," you know.
More happiness from you.
In fact, no, I haven't watched Great American Bash yet, much to my own annoyance, because I know it's going to be fantastic. It's an NXT pay-per-view. They always are. But the fact that and Dynamite went massively head-to-head, the counter booking, that's great. That's a real positive for wrestling if both sides are competing. And if WWE are now competing, are trying to, that only pushes each of them to be better. And that's actually, I think, a positive thing to look for. Competition is one of the things that breeds it. Just this year for pay-per-views has been stunning. We've had really good pay-per-views.
Cross promotions.
We didn't completely hate WrestleMania.
Sorry, my brain burnt out there as I was thinking of the good things, and the other things from WrestleMania came to my head. No, it was good. But it's positive. It's the positive one. Yay!
Just think of a Carter's entrance to Wrestle Kingdom. That'll cheer you up.
God, it was good.
The most positive this year is the rise of Charlotte Flair.
God damn it, Morg.
It wouldn't be a Wrestle OP podcast if we didn't have one dig at Charlotte Flair.
The Omni Flair. I've stolen that. Oh shit, we can't steal that. That's Wrestle Talk. They're really good. I'm going to be positive about them as well. Other wrestling channels. Adam Blampier is back after his self-healing, after his hiatus of dealing with problems he had, and he's just great to listen to. Listen to him after.
Really good wrestling tabletop role-playing game that they do in Odds. Really enjoying those.
As much as I love D&D and shit myself, I hate the idea of listening to other people play it. I just don't get it. But that's me.
I did watch Quizzlemania and it made me pissed.
Quizzlemania is good, yeah.
The wrestling one's good because it's very silly.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
What else?
I'm very excited about seeing a CGI eye removed in a WWE wrestling match.
I mean, I still think that I'm going to come over to yours, buy the best bottle of whiskey I can, and we're going to get pissed and watch that pay-per-view because it sounds a mess, and I can't wait for it.
When is it?
The horror show. Is it 2 weeks? I may be off. I'm not sure, but it's got a swamp match. It's got a CGI finish match where someone loses an eye.
Are we allowed?
Swamp matches?
Are we allowed people visiting each other again yet?
I believe currently we're only allowed 2 households crossing over, which sadly I have already reached the limit of. And we'll have to watch day by day. Who knows where we are on the Nando scale of Corona at the moment? And
so we may have to Discord watch that.
I mean, it just sounds like such a mess that it can only be good.
He's doing the swap match. It'll be great, even with Brog Strongman.
Strongman is so awful. I hate him.
This is sounding like we may have another pay-per-view review special coming up.
As long as I don't have to have a 20-minute anger mid-road rant about how much I hated Randy Orton's match.
Randy Orton versus Edge. Oh god,
that was the most genuine angry I've been on any of our podcasts.
So slow. But anyway, back to the positive. Yeah.
I enjoy getting angry. When I've got a good rage on, I really get into it. I find it quite cathartic, which you can probably tell if you listen to our WrestleMania podcast. Indie wrestlers are getting more jobs and being taken to mainstreams.
Most of the improvement of the industry with all. I know it's horrible that it all, that it's happened, but that it's all come out with the coming forward movement and everybody, It's only good for the industry at the end of the day, getting the improvements it needs.
I'm very excited for Thunder Rosa's new wrestling promotion, which name I do not have. I wasn't expecting to get hyped about it, but we're on a fucking roll of happiness here, boys.
I was about to mention AEW Heels. I'm hoping to see more from that, and that's really nice and positive.
Well, Ruth loves that, doesn't she? Strange. She always enjoys going on that, so yeah.
My woman shout drunkenly at American woman and get really hyped up. Yeah, it's kind of heartwarming in a loud and
Yeah, I think hopefully, if they have another one of those get-togethers, we may have a podcast special with the ladies.
Ladies talk about wrestling.
Yeah, I bet you it gets more listens than us lot.
I wouldn't listen to me. It's the
I
angry
wouldn't
grey
listen to
haired man. He went famous once in 2016 and said
it.
circle
Boo!
jerk.
Get him out of
Yeah.
here.
Don't you take I'd say 15 minutes, my 3 days of fame from me that I never want back.
So
Right.
yeah, there you have it. All in all, it's actually not been that terrible a year for wrestling, and things are seeming to get good again at the moment. Nice positive Twitter.
Hooray!
So with that being said, I'd like to say thanks to Anchor.fm for hosting the podcast. We are Wrestle Opinionated on Anchor.fm, and on Spotify. We are also Wrestle Opinionated on YouTube. Mr. Muir.
Right, as always, we'd like to hear from you because it means we get a better discussion and you get to hear our thoughts on whatever you're thinking currently. So you can send it into wrestleopinionated@gmail.com or WrestleOP, that's OP on Facebook, and WrestleOP1 at Twitter. Also, I've got a quick thing to answer in before we go. We didn't talk about the Puppy Royal Rumble, but I just want to mention one thing from it. Just Tony Schiavone's comment of saying this is better than anything I commentated on in WCW in 2000 was the best comment of the week. And over to you, Strange.
Thank you very much for listening. I'm not going to go full Philip DeFranco this time because I haven't got my bullet point list of shit to shout, but we do appreciate you listening. Please like, share, subscribe, do all those things that you're meant to do. I think I don't even know how YouTube works. Smash the bell button. Hammer your face into the keyboard section until you've clicked all the like buttons. If you have wrestling fans, please pass us and share us onto them. You're all going back to work now and have day trips and stuff, so you can listen to us in the car, listen to us at home, listen to us in the office. Yeah, like, share, subscribe. We really appreciate all of you that listen, and every little bit of extra attention and thumbs up helps us. Back to you, Morg.
All that's left to be said is goodbye and good night.